Keep in mind, Lestream only walked away with 1 point today. 3 points for Penta is a major feather in their cap. And they're going to have to go through Na'Vi first, though. Na'Vi sitting in 7th place, now currently tied with Secret, given Secret's victory over Mouse Sports. We'll see what these teams are going to play before we speculate more, and we'll go back to Oregon, as it's going to be our second time. We started with Villa, then went to Oregon, then we have Villa, now we go back to Oregon. So there you go.
So we know which maps are not going to be played the next European Play Day next week.
Correct.
It's so weird that we're doing it next week now instead of 3 days from now. Or 4 days from now. Yeah.
Yeah, no super weeks.
No super weeks. It's a little disorienting.
It is kind of weird. We had wall-to-wall coverage, right, for
for a month.
Yeah.
And then suddenly
gone.
We have like space.
No more.
Yeah.
Now we are back to the norm.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah. So these two teams are just going to assemble themselves in the lobby, and we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Here, interested to see, actually, very similar to the Mouse Secret matchup. I'm really intrigued to see what the people think when we get to the community vote, because I have a feeling this is going to be, there's going to be two things that happen. There's going to be one team, which I'm not going to say which one, it's going to run away with it, or it's going to be really, really close. I think that
yes.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that there is a team that I think will run away with it. I will tell you when it happens. I was going to say I think that okay, fine, I'll say it. I think either what's going to happen is Penta is going to have a massive lead, or it's going to be real close. I don't foresee Na'Vi having a huge lead.
I mean, that makes sense to me, considering the standings right now. Yeah. Of course, the roster change for Na'Vi and the org change as well could potentially change things, but...
Was I right? Yeah. I mean, it was kind of close.
Yeah, I'd say
kind of close.
Penta has the advantage, as we expect.
59-37.
Yeah, but Na'Vi pulling in some serious numbers there. Can't deny that. 37%. This is, I believe, yes, one of the closest... No. The second closest we've seen today. Mouse versus Secret was 51-40, so yeah, it's not crazy.
People guessed it right on that one, right? It was Secret that got the...
No, it was 51 in favor of Mouse. And
really?
Yeah, I believe it was slightly surprising, but hey, whatever.
I appreciate that you write down the community votes, because I don't write them down.
I did not get this last one, so we're just going to have to speculate.
What was it? It was 59-37-4. 59% Penta, 37% Na'Vi, 4% draw. 59.
I got 59.
37.
37.
I'm so proud of you. Boom. Boom. All right, let's talk about expectations heading into this matchup. Na'Vi represented their region in Rio. They ended up losing to FaZe in the very first round. Okay. You look at the 6 Invitational. A lot of people were speculating that they were going to get absolutely crushed because they weren't faring so well in Pro League. The team had been on a bit of a downward slide. But then they, I think, surprised a lot of people. They beat Liquid in the very first match. They fell short in the rematch. Liquid caught fire. And then Liquid also came pretty close to beating Empire in the quarterfinals. So all things considered, it was a really good showing for this Na'Vi roster, who seem to have unlocked some secret potential. But now they're adding Lazo to the team. I'm very curious to see how that ends up playing out for them, because sometimes you can make a roster move and it ends up being very fruitful, and then other times, you can do it and it falls flat on its face.
Vale had a very rough first half to this season.
Statistically, he has not had the greatest Pro League career.
Right. It was very rough. So it's not shocking to me that he got replaced by Lazo. I think it would be hard for Lazo to mess this up. I feel like if he does decently, if he pulls good numbers, then all right, so be it. He doesn't need to come out here and be a Fonkers or a Sleben. He doesn't need to just reinvigorate the roster. And that's, yep.
If I recall correctly, Lazo actually played for this team at the start of the season when they were going through roster changes in order for the team to hit the 3/5 rule. It might have been last season as well, but I do remember Lazo playing, and he didn't do that poorly. I could be wrong.
He's a good player.
I could be wrong, but I don't think he did that poorly. And I mean, this could end up helping the team overall.
Yeah.
It really depends on what roles they're going to do. I mean, look at Fonkers. You bring him on and he fills that same flex kind of support role that Lackey did, but he was a bit more aggressive than the way that Lackey played. When you have somebody whose aim is as good as Fonkers, you can take those risks and put him in those positions. I don't know what Lazo is going to do and how he's going to fit on this team, because Vale was very typically in a support role. He wasn't really somebody who was charged with being at the forefront of the action. Are we going to see similar things from Lazo. And then the real question for Penta is this team has had a lot of time to really hammer things out and slowly improve on all of the deficiencies that were in the roster, and their potential is very high. They have been able to keep pace with the best of the best in all of Pro League, not even just their region. So, shall we?
We shall.
Get underway. Match number 4. We'll go to Oregon. And because Penta is starting on defense, they will be tasked with picking the very first ban. And who's it going to be?
It's going to be Thatcher. And I feel like this is something that's going to continue to happen on Oregon no matter what. I think that Thatcher is effectively going to be the most common ban on this map moving forward. Maverick as well. Wow, there is almost nothing to do, or nothing you can do to counter the Mute Jammers and the Cade Claws. I mean, I think this is a really good situation for anyone going on to defense, especially the basement, but Smoke being eliminated, that's huge.
And unsurprising. Na'Vi have banned Smoke on Oregon, I want to say most of the times that we've seen them play. They don't need him. He's not a part of their strategy, and he's a very important tool for a lot of the other defensive teams. So
look at that. Neither a Kaid nor a Mute ban. So both teams opting to go the opposite direction, or at least a different direction, that they'll be getting rid of the powerhouses that are on the anchor, which is Mira and Smoke, instead of worrying about getting past the drop down in the first place. So this is a really curious move by both squads, and I think they're both well aware what they want to do here.
Round number 1, we'll go downstairs to laundry supply room. Unsurprising. That's your first step. I mean, you have the opportunity if you really want to go upstairs, but I mean, why bother? You can go there next.
Indeed. So, I think basement will be probably the go-to here, considering what operators are available. It's interesting that we're not seeing the Kaid being brought out on the first round here from Penta. They're just relying purely on the Mute, but you can't really fault them for that, considering both the Maverick and the Thatcher are banned. You don't necessarily need the extra counter utility on that drop-down. The one jammer will do just fine. Overall, we're seeing a very interesting lineup as well from Na'Vi, because they have brought that Finka, which is not exactly a common operator, but can be very powerful when used properly. No shields to back it up, but that's not the only way you can combo with a Finka. This could be a very early pick right now for... What? Okay, I must be missing something, or he missed something, because that looked like a free kill to me. In fact, well, he's gone now. Moved downstairs using the drop down, and okay then.
Those kind of things happen.
They do, yeah.
From time to time. I'm a little surprised that we don't see any... Well, I guess Finka has grenades. I was going to say, I'm surprised we don't really see a sledge here on this push. Thank goodness that KS has the frag grenades. A bit unusual to see the Finka having the spear instead of the LMG.
Yeah, usually the LMG is the go-to. I mean, combos so well with your ability. May as well bring it.
I mean, you can also... I feel like a lot of teams also can make it work at long range, even without the...
I mean, it doesn't have much recoil, if we're being honest.
It bobbles a little bit, I feel like, at the start and every like third or fourth shot, but...
Compare it to Nomad's AK.
Yeah.
Like, that's a noodle gun, and the LMG, the Russian LMG, is really actually easy to control competitively. So
there goes the very first Adrenal Surge, and what happens? Na'Vi takes very minimal ground with that. Answering the question of what Lazo's going to do, he's going to sit on the Thermite. So he is going to inherit Vale's roles to a certain extent, as he's going to be on that hard breach, full support role.
I think both teams right now are just waiting for a pick. Slow going here. Lots of clearing of utility. They don't have to deal with the Mira, obviously, since it's been banned by Penta. So they know that they don't have to worry about a close engagement here from Penta. They have to play for retake, and by they, I mean the defense. And you could see they're stacked up and waiting for that retake potential. And they're not giving away any picks. I really got to applaud the patience here from Penta. This is uncommon to see on an Oregon basement hold. This just kind of staring contest.
Who blinks first, though? That's the real question.
Yeah, it's true.
Who blinks first in this potential mashup that we're about to see between these teams? Because Penta's in a position to just greet Na'Vi as they walk through these doors. And it's close. Now, I mean, Navi's got 2 adrenal surges to work. You can use it. There one goes.
Uh-oh.
So Nitro Cell misses onto Lazo, but the Echo Drone will be there, and there's another one as it takes 3 pieces of utility to stop the plant. Penta rewarded with 2 kills, but Na'Vi will get 2 of their own. KS now tasked with getting the plant down. He's going to get hit by the yokai. It's finally taken out as all the shots will rattle on in. Cut down his blast as Cryan does some work covering. And KS is just a second away from successfully completing the plant. It's a double up from Na'Vi, who on the attack will make a very clean execute. As things got a little hairy for them to start off, and Na'Vi will walk away and allow Penta an opportunity to go back downstairs. It's the laundry room not working for the defense on round 1.
So, that round, the way that Na'Vi set themselves up, they were clearly waiting for a pick. They were just expecting somebody to give them a pick, and no one from Penta did. Penta were relying on their utility to deny the push. They were doing their best to play around the predetermined strategy that they had thought up for that round. I mean, it actually seemed to be working pretty well, but then the first C4 missed. And that's where it all went bad for Penta. They needed to have more actual presence on the default plant spot than they thought they had. And it was really unfortunate to see that round play out the way it did, because again, you got to applaud the patience from Penta. But yeah, you miss your C4s, and your counterplant utility is not good enough to actually deny the presence on site from Na'Vi. It's going to be a struggle. And Na'Vi used that push for the plant so well to bait out the Penta players. So yeah, Penta was patient the early portion of the round, but then following that patience, they kind of just threw their bodies at it.
The typical whole throw your bodies at the problem and expect something to happen, right? And there wasn't really much there for the follow-through that came out. And Na'Vi also were able to capitalize on 2 pushes that came out from Penta. You remember the one body of the Mute that was playing in the hallway that tried to push on over? It was just interesting to see. And speaking of interesting, the G36 is an often neglected weapon in the arsenal of any Ashe player, but because the ACOG has moved off the R4C, well, it's going to be Corey running the G36. Keep in mind with that weapon, you can also attach an angled grip, allowing Ashe to be able to ADS a little bit quicker, possibly really take advantage of fighting in close quarters.
I have a feeling that in a month, maybe, Ashe players are going to start figuring out, wow, G36C with an angled and an ACOG is really good. I don't know how I wasn't using this the whole time.
Not that there's anything wrong with the R4C with the Hollow as well. And this is going to be something that's a little contentious among players, but still allowing Ashe to be able to hold these long angles. Now, the clash of enemy is inside of the kitchen. It's going to scoot off as there's maximum destruction, leaving Blast in a position where he's going to have to tango with multiple members of Na'Vi, all of who are staring in his general direction. He's going to play around the pantry, and using the speed of Jaeger, he's able to get away scot-free. So this is a good chance for Penta to reassess and continue on their roam. KS casualty number 1 is Blast, who's unable to be tagged out by anybody from Na'Vi. Will find a member of Na'Vi and get kill number 1, taking out the Finka and the only set of frag grenades as well from Na'Vi down. And because there's no adrenaline surge or adrenal surge, that means that Lazo will just sit at his 25 HP for the remainder of this matchup. No boost being able to be given to him, even temporarily.
See Blaz just doing his best to continue this roam, and he's done a great job so far. Pre-fire some Corey, but none will land. Blaz on the other side, and he's looking for the fight. He'll find it and get the shot down on the Corey. An easy headshot for the Jaeger. Relocates, and that's another one, and a third for Blaz in this round. At this point, it's still potentially an ace if he keeps fragging out, but Cryan's going to shut him down. It doesn't really matter. Blaz did his duty, and he got a lot done on that roam. It's just Cryan and Rips now, a 2 versus 4, doing their best to push the white stairs, but look at the time. All that time wasted specifically by the Jaeger of Blaz, and all those frags gotten. There's not really much that the rest of the Na'Vi players can do to bring this round into their favor.
This time running out as it's been hopeless for Na'Vi, and you know how difficult it can be to attack this site. The F2 is a great weapon, but it's only going to chew through 1 as it's Penta doubling up and finishing this round off. Both teams will emerge through these 2 rounds, all tied up. A bit of frustration from Na'Vi likely setting in on that round as they could not really gain any ground. No real map control for them either, and they were flummoxed by that clash at almost every single step of the way.
I think it was a lot of it comes down to Blaz on his roam in kitchen. 3K for him, and for some reason nobody droned out bathroom when they went to push onto him. That was truly puzzling. I'm not sure what the thought process was there for Na'Vi, but it surely did cost them. Blaz took full advantage. Now, going into the basement again, this is the site that Penta failed to defend the first time they went to it. Na'Vi came from construction side and tower, which is actually a much more common attack now. And I think it's obvious why it is a more common attack. Addition of Kaid. And the fact that Thatcher is banned means that attacking from the main lobby, which used to be the go-to, is just a headache and a half. And you've got the Twitch here, but does that really bring it back enough to matter?
The continuous tinkering that's been done to Twitch as well. You've now got the lights on the front of it, which make it more visible. You've also got the fact that it still makes quite a bit of sound. So the likelihood of being able to get a Twitch drone down those stairs, possibly through a maze of barbed wire and in a position to tase out that one Kaid Electroclaw, it's going to be a challenge, and especially if it's placed in a position by enemy where it's very difficult to get at. Looks like there's a bit of jostling right now to see if enemy's going to be able to get it in a good position, and multiple people are trying to help him out.
Yeah, he was asking, and that is indeed the best spot you can put it on the drop-down. It's been researched, and yeah, well, it's hard for Maverick to get it there if you weren't banned in this, and it's pretty much impossible to get it from the bottom of stairs unless you've got an explosive and there's no Jaeger being played, and it's, well, Thatcher's always going to be banned here, so yeah, it's tricky. It's a tricky Kaid Claw position to deal with. And they've also got the mute. But yeah, here's the thing. You bring in the Twitch, right? And in theory, she can get all of that gadgetry, but that's in theory. It's likely that one of the defenders is just going to hold the stairs with a shotgun, and you're not going to get past it. There's not a lot of great access points, as every other one would be obviously covered. A huge mistake there from Corey, and Blaz will land the shot through narrow bars. That's very impressive from him, and a little bit of punishment going Na'Vi's way.
It really looked like it wasn't smart for Blast to peek that way, but Corey was there, and Corey couldn't really do much with it. Just too static, and a beautiful shot on an SMG-11 as Blast popped up. And a good read just to know that Corey was going to be in that spot. It's the exact same spot that Corey was playing in before. And I don't know if that was something that was kept in the minds of the Penta players, as it's history repeating itself, though Corey was able to exist for far too long for Penta's liking last time around. If you remember, this was the site where Penta just struggled, and Na'Vi collapsed on them, taking full advantage of the fact there was 40 seconds left and there were still 8 players on the board. This time around, there's going to be some raw potential for fragging capabilities off the board for Na'Vi, and still tons of utility for Penta to really hold on. Second grenade from KS is going to get lobbed on in. There's no grenade on the board. Does a bit of damage to Blast, but other than that, the mute is going to live.
A little bit more of a tussle here before the actual site push comes out. Blaz will be eliminated on the pixel angle there. Had timing to be prone. Looked like he was trying to set up a C4 maybe, but it's not going to work in his favor. Evil Eye doing a lot of work here on Talazzo, but it looks like might have just been dealt with. The C4 misses again. This is huge. And a second pick for KS playing that very same pixel angle. Rips in the hallway, going to eliminate enemy who tries to retake, and there's a third for KS as Serbas goes down. It's just hungry in a 1 versus 4, and with so little HP, he will be shut down by Lazo. An excellent take there from Na'Vi, and very much the same thing we saw the last time we went to this bomb site.
2 missed C4s, 2 massively missed C4s that really could have completely hindered every single aspect of Na'Vi's push. Did not pay off at all. Those are the kind of mistakes that you can't be making as a defending team. You got to be able to shore up those weaknesses, and it is a major weakness on Penta's side of things right now. And it's something that can be easily corrected when you go back and look, but in the middle of a match, those are 2 rounds that you probably shouldn't have dropped, and yet you did. Na'Vi played them perfectly and knew that seizing the opportunity over on the bunker side of things, or tarp, and going on in through supply room was indeed the play. You mentioned it very well. There's no Thatcher on the board. Kaid makes it extremely difficult for teams to be able to take control of that hatch and push down through laundry, and it basically puts the defenders in a position where they only need to watch you through 1 or 2 avenues. despite that, Penta have struggled to be able to capitalize on the fact that Na'Vi is stacking up in very similar positions every single time. The Thermite plant from Lazo, or the Thermite planting in the exact same corner from Lazo, twice. Corey, same position. You managed to get him, but the rest of the team, KS's position as the Finca, inside of a area that is often referred to as pillbox. You got to know, as Penta, that Na'Vi is going to be coming from the same angle, very Empire-esque, in that their strategies have been eerily similar. And there really hasn't been much from Penta that would inspire confidence that now a third defense of Laundry Supply Room will actually work out for them this time, because Na'Vi has literally ate their lunch on this site twice so far.
Might be a different attack strategy this time from Na'Vi, as they have decided to bring the Capital, and it looks like they're going to clear west side before anything else, so maybe some hope yet for Penta. One thing that's worth noting, though, is that Penta has decided not to bring the Kaid this time around, which is going to hurt their defense of, you guessed it, the main lobby, which, if Na'Vi has decided to attack from the main lobby, perfect timing for them. There is a Twitch on the board, which is likely going to be the main tool used to deal with the mute jammers, though it's not a guaranteed thing. Corey waiting for some aggression. Oh, that might actually work out. Uh-oh. It's going to be close, but no, it will not. So nice try there from Na'Vi. A little bit of a gamble. The soft destruction on the wall, though, from Penta was well placed, and it will not work out in Na'Vi's favor.
This is a valiant effort, but I mean, it's that kind of play that Penta will obviously dry run and have prepared, knowing full well that there's just that close of a margin that you're going to have Na'Vi try, and that's an exothermic charge that's going to get wasted. There's a lot of utility from Na'Vi. Will go down the main stairs, and Blast trying to connect on the shotgun. He'll get one, looking for a second. Oh, he almost gets KS as they rodeo around those metal bars. Down goes the Capital, who's crying, will be ineffective as he's sent to an early grave with a minute to go. And Na'Vi, instead of pushing from Supply Room, will go towards Laundry. They're not really able to do all that much. Patience that they experienced when pushing the Supply Room that Penta was not prepared for. It's not really working all that well. KS faked out by a corpse at the bottom of the main stairs. See, it's another Adrenal Surge, and the rest of the team will now rotate on out. The Thermite heading towards the back of the site as everybody else pushes on in. Hungry with the Scorpion in great position as there you go, Sir Boss and Hungry are going to do good work. The Twitch is also down. Blast will be credited with that, and it's a miss for Hungry, but Lazo's not going to be able to do too much. He can't take himself out of that hole at all. Hungry's able to recover quite well. Both of these teams are currently sitting at even strength. We're now at 2 apiece, and it's finally a victory on Laundry for Penta, freeing up a team to go to dorms if they want to, as the site will unlock now on round number 5.
Wow, that was an interesting round for sure. Mostly consisted of Na'Vi trying to force themselves down the Laundry stairs and failing. Now, moving on. We're going to go do a top floor defense here for Penta. They managed to successfully defend the basement finally. But I have to say, I don't know that that's necessarily because of how Penta held it, although they did do a good job of holding the Laundry stairs. Hand it to them. And more to do with how Na'Vi decided to attack it. You can see a Ying being brought here from Na'Vi since she has been left unbanned. Very potent operator no matter what. I'm sure she will help with the attack strategy, whether it be from the west window or into generator. She's just good here, or anywhere. There is, however, a Jaeger in play, so that's something that Na'Vi will have to tussle with.
You can stop worrying about grenades.
There's something so satisfying about saying Na'Vi.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Just happy they're in Rainbow Six Pro League.
It's nice to see them here.
It is really nice to see them here, yeah. Very welcome.
A very well-respected and renowned org in a number of games who've obviously made their mark in esports. It's good to. It's nice to have these orgs coming in.
Yeah.
It always is. And it's a bit of a surprise because, I mean, there are a lot of orgs that people always speculate and always say, oh, I want to see this org in. You know, everybody's got their favorite orgs.
Yeah.
And it's like, Na'Vi didn't always come up. So, and it's also benefiting a team that's been grinding for a while. You know, I remember back when how long this roster was known as orgless. You know, and then finally they got picked up by Mocket, which was a big success, and then getting picked up by Na'Vi as well. So,
McCoy's trying to play this pixel angle here, and it's between the shield and the door frame. It's a very, very hard shot to land, but if you can line it up, you can wait for the defender to try and use it, and then once the defender goes to use it, easy kill. So that's what you could see Corey trying to do right now, but it's going to come down to him being patient, and it looks like they're just going to dispatch the shield. That's probably the right call. Rips is going to be playing inside of Junk Tower, trying to isolate the flank using that Claymore. Claymore at the top of main lobby stairs as well. So Na'Vi are well established here on this attack. It's likely the next step will be opening up that generator wall. Once that's open, you can use the Candelas from West Window to make the push into the generator that much more potent. Enemy might be a stopping force here, though.
It's imperative that Na'Vi is able to burn the ADSs of Blast if they already haven't. They have everything at their disposal. I mean, you got the stun grenades on Lazo. You're also going to have stun grenades on KS.
Yep.
Corey is obviously going to have the different utility that comes with a lifeline. Don't really have to worry too much about Cryon because his asphyxiating bolts and smoke bolts will go through the ADSs. It's going to give maximum value to Rips when he does decide to push on in. And you know how a Ying can just cleave through a site, cause maximum chaos and panic. And there you go. The telltale signs and colors of the Ying Candela will go off. Still 2 available as Rips is wary of a possible push through that small tower, as you noted. There's Blast just going up the stairs, but there's a Claymore that was set up as well. And if Blast doesn't watch, he might walk right into it. So he's got to be very very wary of where he navigates. Failed defuse by Lazo as Blast has been down. Looks like Rips did have a good eye on that flank watch, and he'll be able to get it as he hops on back out. Still 2 Candelas, smokes will go off, and now Na'Vi are firmly in the driver's seat. It's going to be very important. Penta's able to counter punch. They'll get one off under Rips as Sir Boss guns him down, but Revan falls to Corey. There's Chaos to grab another, and Na'Vi is looking to hold this out. There goes Hungary, but it's Cryon and Corey to clean up, and Na'Vi will absolutely mop up the site and once again regain the lead. Penta, through 5 rounds, has either trailed or tied. They have not had a lead just yet. And on Oregon, that's interesting enough. Na'Vi right now, though, the better team through 5.
They've been looking very strong so far. Na'Vi with an excellent attack there. You got to hand it to them. They used the Candelas well. The smokes were exceptionally well placed. Props to Cryon for managing that. And the actual push was perfectly timed. Penta were not in full control of the site. In fact, we're caught in the middle of rotations. You saw Sir Boss even get caught out by the main West Window near the dresser. That's not a good position to be in, but he had to go there. Why? He was blind. No information. Constantly being shot at, trying to seek cover, and the disruption from Na'Vi was just impressive. Penta setting themselves up again on the top floor, and trying one more time. It's been a typical Oregon match so far from the way I'm looking at this. I think that it wouldn't be too shocking to see Na'Vi take this a 4-2. That would not leave Penta completely out of it, but it's definitely the ideal result, of course, for Na'Vi. Oregon, of course, is one of our most balanced maps in the current meta, as weird as that is to say.
Oregon is extremely unpredictable for good teams, right? It's
true.
Everybody says, it's the map where good teams go to die. It is quite unpredictable. There's lots of ways to play it. You can be very aggressive with it.
When I say balanced, of course, I mean statistically.
Yes. It's also got 2 sites that are not super great.
No, they're
not super.
They're really bad, actually.
Not super great.
Yeah.
So I think those do kind of skew the stats a little bit because teams winning. I mean, it was the stat actually show that teams win tower more than any other site.
But it's because it's only been played like 15 times.
On defense, at least.
Yeah. But again, it doesn't get played enough for those stats to really matter, in my opinion. I mean, you could use it as a reference though if you want to. More clearing of ADS here in the main hallway, and it's finally going to be an Ash charge here as they determine that it's cleared out, which means they will be able to open up the shield. That shield being opened up means that Na'Vi effectively have control of the main hallway. They can cut off rotation down the middle of the site. Very powerful position to control. And it's going to be, I believe, Corey, who is put on the job of holding that rotation. And he's just trying to hold the doorway. There's, of course, the rotation by the West Window, but that will be disrupted, of course, eventually by Rips. As soon as he is confident, he has isolated his flank. He does this, goes to the West Window, opens that up, uses Candelas to disrupt, then the site push comes out as soon as the generator wall is open.
Amazingly, we really didn't see a lot coming from the Candelas of Rips as he was mostly seated on flank watch last round. he was able to get the Jaeger inside a small tower, but I think only one Candela went off in the ensuing fray, and that was actually beforehand. There's going to be another Candela that goes, though, as Rips retreats over to small tower, just maybe trying to give some leverage here for both Cryan and KS to advance on the site, but they're not going to take the opportunity to do so.
The Mute Jammer's still in play here. Mute is such a versatile operator. It's really kind of amazing that we didn't see him used more, but I honestly think it's just the fact that you can bring the shotgun in the SMG-11 now that's made players so much more comfortable on him, as he can hold those close angles as well as influence the round with his gadget. C4 for Hungary. Enemy gets one, as does Blaz, and wow, Navi falling apart here as Penta just get kill after kill. KS the last alive, but he's going for a plant, and Hungary's right on top of him. A perfect round for Penta, and well, the exact opposite result of what we got in the previous one. So, hey man, unpredictable round, or unpredictable match, that's for sure.
Once again, an even contest, as I don't think we can say definitively at this moment who's going to be able to take the victory. I said Navi had looked better heading into the dorms, but that was super convincing by Penta. Extremely convincing. So
yes.
We'll swap sides, and it's going to be a laundry room defense, and well, would you look at that? Unsurprising, but Navi will bring a Kaid and a Mute, so you'll double up on the denial, which will very likely push Penta to go towards a supply take, which is exactly what happened in the inverse when Penta was defending. You expect that you create such an obstacle course for the attackers to navigate heading down to the laundry room side of things that it's the supply room where everybody has to go. And usually, you can fare pretty good in the supply room because there's only like 1 or 2 ways into the site. Wasn't the case for Penta, as they missed a couple C4s. That was unfortunate for them because if they had have connected, it probably would have meant a completely different round and furthermore a completely different score line as well.
So, defense of the basement here, first thing for Navi. Both of the claws already placed from Rips, so he's going to be looking like maybe a roam in this round. We'll see. So far, Penta aware that there's somebody inside of tower, looking for that fight. Ooh, narrowly missing out on the opportunity there from Blaz. Likely some debris in his way. Cryan is going to get taken down by Hungary, though, so T3 is now clear. And that's a good pick to have early on. Tower control seems to be the focus here for Penta. Once they get control of tower, they can continue their attack onto construction, as is pretty common in this meta. Rips playing in Meeting Hall is going to do his best to slow things down.
A minute expired here in round number 7. As you flush out Meeting Hall, you know that there's at least some electrification going on the wall. Mute Jammer will claim a casualty in the name of the Twitch drone for Revan as he just has tower control with 2 drones assisting him, and well, he also has Blast there too, or rather enemy, assisting him. Not Blast. He's Blast on drone.
Well, one of the Penta players. And it's just, I think, a concerted effort by the team as a whole to try and take control of Harry Potter. As you can see, Corey playing that position right now. He is Vigil, so he's going to be able to be a little elusive, but I think they know where he is. Flash has come out. Within 1 meter, it's going to hit you no matter what. And he will be blinded. Another one, and again, blinded, but there's no follow-up, and it's possible there's no flashes left, and because of that, Corey's gonna get a kill. What just happened, Penta? Hungary gets the refrag, but there is no world where Corey should have gotten anything out of that.
There's crossed wires there, assuredly. You used 3 flashbangs, and then most importantly, the cloaking device of the Vigil had worn off when the drone was able to survey his position. That should have been very simple for Penta to be able to push. Unfortunately, they lose Revan in the process, and an advantage that was in their favor is now still there, but a little bit weakened at this point, as your Twitch drones could be important and crucial to be able to try to take out some of the utility that's been laid throughout the site by Navi. There's not a lot of time left. A deceptively fast round, as much of it was wasted trying to flush out Corey playing down in Harry Potter, as you mentioned. A 4v3 that favors Penta with 20 seconds to go. Execute happening as the asphyxiating bolt drops. KS has sights on one doorway that Lazo is also watching. A body comes in looking for a plant. Can KS connect successfully? No! Sir Boss sticking the defuse once again. The C4's just simply missing, and Penta is there to cut everybody from Na'Vi down as finally it takes 7 rounds. Penta is able to claim the lead in this matchup. They've either trailed or tied, but they're here now, and they take a big first victory on defense.
Both teams are seriously struggling with landing that C4 to deny default plant from construction. I gotta imagine that's something both teams are gonna step back and be like, okay, yeah, let's practice this for the next match we play on Oregon, because there ought to be, and there very likely is, a safe spot where you can throw that C4 without exposing yourself and land it every time. Go into a dry run, figure it out. Both teams, I'm sure, will do that.
Is that 3 or 4 C4s that have been missed in that position?
Something like that.
Astonishing.
And it's been the cause of much distress for both defensive teams. We're talking about Na'Vi and Penta here. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll fix it in the future. But for now, it's definitely costing the defense a lot of rounds. Basement defense once more onto the breach, says Na'Vi. And see if they can make it work this time. Although I'm entirely convinced by their last attempt, to be honest. Gonna be mute again, setting himself up upstairs. This is interesting. It's likely that they're not expecting a main lobby take, though we know that Capitao makes the main lobby a little bit more likely to be the culprit. However, the spawns scream tower construction once more from Penta, which wouldn't be surprising in the least.
See if they're able to flush Corey out if he's playing in Harry Potter much faster. Also, you had an asphyxiating bolt in Revan's hands. It was still alive. Like, why didn't you just asphyxiating bolt the corner? Like, you're gonna...
Man,
I don't know. There was a lot of confusing things about the way that Penta handled that. I mean, they still ended up working it out, and they still ended up winning the round, but the way that they handled that with Corey was a lot of wasted potential, and they could have had an even bigger advantage if they just had read it properly and actually been able to communicate it. Cryan's in a very dangerous position here on the back stairs as multiple drones from Penta are able to do the work just to try to flesh out this tower control. Penta knows that there's going to be a lot of presence from Na'Vi. There's 3 bodies that were playing over by those back tower stairs on the bottom floor. Open hatches and meeting hall control show that there's quite the presence from Na'Vi off-site. Chaos won't last too long as Penta have great control from above, able to find a number of different members of Na'Vi that are playing off-site. You got to imagine that Na'Vi need to consolidate on the actual bomb sites themselves.
That early pick, of course, as you said, it's going to be a prompting to a retreat here from Na'Vi. But they only have to defend for half the round remaining. The problem is that Penta still has a lot of utility to work with. Corey, again, going to be playing by Harry Potter. This is so dangerous. And this time he's going to fall back. I really appreciate this call from Corey. I think this is the right decision in that circumstance. If he were to linger there once more, he very likely would have been picked off for free. So... instead, going to rotate all the way upstairs. Actually, Blaz didn't catch him. This could be bad. It depends on what's going on with Attic. If it's open, then there's rotation potential. Blaz is actually up in Attic right now. Corey's decided to work his way into Kitchen instead, which is reinforced. He's on the defensive team. He should know that. Enemy takes out Lazo. That's a huge pick.
I don't know what Corey's confusion is here or where it's coming from, but something just doesn't seem to be going right with Na'Vi right now on this particular setup. Corey's inside a meeting hall and his ETC cloaking will give, or his cloaking device rather, will give himself away, and he gets spotted out. Blast is there on flank watch, shreds right through him, and every single member of Na'Vi falls as Rips tries in vain to keep his team in this, but it's all Penta right now who seem to be racking them up. 2 rounds in a row for Penta on defense, 3 in a row if you count, or 2 rounds in a row on attack rather for Penta, and 3 in a row if you count the last round on defense. They are very firmly in control right now and looking to crack into one of those playoff spots with repeated success in the next 7 days. It's a good starting point for them if they're able to take a victory over Na'Vi, and actually spells quite a bit of trouble for Na'Vi, given the fact that they are in one of the 2 relegation spots right now.
So basement defense is a big no here for Na'Vi, and they've determined that, having failed it twice now, and quite decisively. So they're gonna go to the top floor in an attempt to mix things up. Might be just what they need. I am really puzzled. I want to bounce back to what happened there with Corey. If he had impacted, if he'd just gone upstairs and impacted the attic, free kill onto Blaz. And he was, the timing would have lined up perfectly. Of course, yeah, he can't possibly know that. He's not omniscient, but why did he go to kitchen, which is reinforced? I'm just puzzled a little bit by what we saw there on the side of Na'Vi for that basement defense. There's some miscommunication going on. That's what that screams, is not enough information being relayed through the channels, allowing Penta to pretty easily sweep that up.
All right, round number 9, and it's going to be a Dorms defense. You got to try something new, right? Laundry doesn't work twice. Where do you go? You go up top. That's the good news about Oregon. Good to see Hungary reunited on that old reliable of Ying.
Yeah, he's a good Ying player. Kind of I think one of the first players to make Ying be truly a famous force to be reckoned with.
Did it with the 612 too, that shotgun, right?
Yeah. He's using the LMG right now, but I think that's just proof of Hungary's versatility more than anything.
It also might be how Penta is going to play him as well.
True, true, true.
You know, if they're going to use somebody else to take point, then they don't really need him up close and personal with that shotgun just to shred through people. It's really just a difference in play style.
True. I appreciate that they've got the hollow on the LMG as well. That means you're a little bit more medium range. You can do a lot more with that. And
yeah.
Vaughn going to catch Rips off guard here. Actually, he might be able to turn this into a pick. So the 3 armor, he's going to be hard pressed to fall back. But look at that, opening up the drop down. That's the right call there.
Yeah, he's going to get the hell out of there as quickly as he can.
Yeah.
He missed a couple shots on the drone and then just a bit of shakiness. I mean, it just looked like he was almost panicking, and you can't have that happening. Corey has been posted up to try and maybe catch somebody who was going to push Rips inside of that meeting hall, but Corey's not really in danger for the time being. There's a drone that might likely catch him, but these mute jammers could be a pain in the or a thorn in the side of Penta.
Nice save.
Thank you. I try my best.
Yeah. 10 out of 10. And Penta have opened up the generator wall, so they've got a good avenue here. They've got the utility, Capital and Ying. This is going to be a really gruesome push if executed properly by Penta. But what's this? C4 still below. Corey with the heartbeat detector is going to be so important in this round. And Rips is there to support him. So this could all be stopped quite easily if timed perfectly. And yes, there you go. KS with the C4 from below. Rips also takes out Blaz, who is attempting to clear out from below. Vaughn pushing into sight. He's laying in some fire to top of White, but he gets shut down easily. It's just Enemy in a 1 versus 5, and he gets 2. Beautiful gunplay from the Zofia on Enemy. And he's going to have Rips down on the floor as well, who gets picked up just a few moments prior. Aware of one on the top of White, goes for the shots. Jaeger in front of him, though, and Crying shuts him down. What a round from Na'Vi. What a C4 from KS. And they will start bringing it back.
I mean, at some point it had to happen that an explosive would actually connect. And I mean, it took 9 rounds, but boy, you save it all up for that specific encounter. And it works really well. It works quite effectively. And KS single-handedly saves that round for the rest of his team. And you just see Penta fall apart at the seams. They could not pivot after they lost their planter and then their plant coverage. It was too little too late. You can't go anywhere. You can't really do all that much. And Penta had nowhere to go. You're basically in the fortress that is Dorms. There's no opportunity to rotate. You can't drop. You're dead, basically. And that's the way that Na'Vi played it. And a good recovery by Na'Vi. Unfortunately for them, because they won on Dorms, they have to go back downstairs to Laundry. Penta has been perfect on for the time being.
Yeah.
But still, keeping even pace. It was a very convincing round from Na'Vi in the way that they played it as well.
What do you think, Parker? Draw?
I think it kind of feels like that.
I think we're getting to that point. It's looking maybe not likely, but possible. Certainly, it's in the cards. The way that Na'Vi have been playing, I mean, that last round, a lot of that comes down to the C4 from KS. It was perfectly placed, perfectly timed, and the rest of it was a cleanup from the team. As you can see, there's a lot of teamwork going on here for Na'Vi. The frags are well distributed. On the other hand, you got Penta with some top-heavy fraggers. But they are winning. And by they, of course, I mean Penta. In a good position right now. They're going to bring the Capitao and the Ying once again. Lots of disruption there. The last time, in the previous round, the disruption was there, but not able to really do anything, or accomplish anything, that is, as the C4 countered them so specifically. Now, I can't tell what the strategy is for Penta so far. It looks like oh no, Corey!
That was not the strategy.
That's excellent timing from Corey, and managing to take out the Ying, just as you say, not the strategy. A loss of a Ying here is going to really hurt Penta's attack.
I believe the kids say that was not the play.
Not the play.
That was not the play. I mean, from Corey it was, but that's a pretty common spot to find somebody in, looking through the tiny crack over by the tower door.
Indeed.
You know that somebody might be playing in there. Maybe somebody might rotate at a meeting, etc. Usually it's the Capitao, actually, that we see on a lot of teams. Will put the para with the ACOG looking that way. Unfortunate for Penta that it ended up being hungry, because, yeah, that's a ton of versatility that could come to your attacking lineup that is now gone. So Penta, who were looking like they were setting up for a supply room push, are going to continue to do that, but they're going to do it without the 3 Candelas. And not being able to basically paralyze the site, Na'Vi will be able to see quite clearly, the exception of maybe the disorienting blast from enemy, or the smoke from Revan. That's really all that's going to be at the disposal of Penta here to try and pin Na'Vi down and prevent them from being able to do too much of a counter push from Penta's attack.
That position that Cryan is playing in the hallway leaves him very exposed if you get droned, but as a dock, I think perfect role to fill. Just holding that hallway. Rips gets hit by the asphyxiating bolt, and he will be healed up in due time by the dock, Cryan. But, wow, the second one actually going to miss. Rips allowed to survive in the corner. Oh no, Ravon. That is not what you want to see if you are a Penta fan. Na'Vi looking good here. Rips gets away safe and sound, even healed back.
And that's huge that he's able to scamper off back to site. And look at the HP on Penta's side of things. They've all taken quite a beating, except for Sir Boss. Down goes enemy as KS pops around the corner. He's got the SMG-11 in hand, and all this information being fed to the rest of the team from Na'Vi due to the Echo drone. Sir Boss going for the plant, but nobody knows. Is he not seen? There you go. He gets taken out by the Yokai drone. He'll have to go back onto the plant as Cryan finds a kill on the blast. And Na'Vi looking for a perfect round. And by Jove, they've got it. Every single member of Na'Vi is still alive. And they'll tie this up. Yes, if I thought that it was going to go to a draw, and, well, neither of these teams could shake one another. It sure seems like that.
Excellent job there to Na'Vi, holding that fierce. I mean, it didn't even look like Penta was in that round, to be honest. So a big bounce back here. 3 in a row for Penta. Penta up 5-3, and now we're at 5-5. Just impressive to see. You would think that Na'Vi would at some point get discouraged, but not the case. Problem, though, you're going to have to go to tower. That's not ideal, of course, for any team. So this is definitely a hurdle that Na'Vi is going to have to jump over. They want to have any chance at winning it, of course, but it might not be the end of the story in terms of potentially a draw. They lose this tower defense, they can go to the top floor in their next defensive round. So that will certainly be a much more winnable site. I expect Na'Vi, well, the way they're setting up right now, to maybe just go for a little bit of aggression. Try to catch Penta off guard. I mean, Lazo's going for those cameras outside. You see he put 2 out on the north side of tower. He really wants to have that information, but it might have been caught on drone.
I mean, you have to basically go with a full court press here on tower, right?
Yeah.
You have no choice. The tools that Penta have to take out a T3 hold, should there be one from Na'Vi, are abundant. There you go. You see Corey is up there. He's got the ADSs with him. You got asphyxiating bolts. You got a Zofia. You got a Ying. There's a lot of tools that Penta can use. And if they can clear out Corey fast, then that bodes extremely well for the rest of the tower control. But that's a big if. There are teams who get tied up trying to take out the person on T3. And the longer that clock runs, the less resources and the less time you're going to have to be able to translate to the actual site. So Corey, just simply hold on to these windows. He sees throwables go in. That's a drone that gets tossed in as well.
Ooh.
Corey's actually got a mute jammer up there. He manages to find the drone. This is good play as he just continuously rotates. And nobody from Penta seems to be able to get him at all.
They're all fixated on just that one goal, but you're right. Penta not accomplishing it so far. Corey doing an excellent job of just staying alive. And that's really his job description on T3. It's going to get a little bit more trepidatious, though, as he starts to see pressure from the north window. You can see he's got teammates to support him, but it's still not easy to hold on to this position. The firebolts come out, and oh no, Corey starts getting burned alive, and he will be finished off by Sir Boss. That's good teamwork from Penta to get control of T3. And with control of T3, they have control, likely, of the rest of Tower.
And now you're going to see Na'Vi have to push back as well. Cryan was there watching the window, maybe to see a repel that would go in by the Capitao, but it's not to be, as now you see Penta's fallen off of that tower hold and are just going simply for the doors. You might have had Na'Vi actually push farther back, understanding that if T3 ends up getting captured by Penta, that you can be pushed out of that site in a hurry. So you might as well reassess and fight for a retake, which is very difficult on tower. And Hungry's going to start things off, dumping in his Candelas onto T2. There's nobody really there to take advantage of it. T3 goes in hands, and oh no, enemy doesn't understand that Cryan is playing on T2. That's a bit of an easy kill. Sir Boss, frag number 2 onto Lazo. Hungry gets Cryan as he bursts right in. KS, the C4 will connect as he's being held at bay by the asphyxiating bolt. It's just him and Rips as the plant going down from Sir Boss. Does Rips have the intel? He knows somebody's there. He sees the head. He can't get the shots, but he'll land the shots there. Rips turns around. He'll pick up a double. Into a 1v1 will go as Ravon dispatches KS, and Rips, very low HP, will have to go for the defuse. Ravon doesn't have the angle, and instead Rips will fall off, but he can go back on. This will prompt Ravon to have to walk on up, but he doesn't have it. 3 seconds left. He's running out of time. Does he get it? Oh. There he goes in a hair. Penta will move to match point, and by the skin of his teeth, Ravon gets it. How close can you possibly get? That is a nail biter. Penta guaranteeing themselves 1 point. Na'Vi will fight for a draw, but we'll go to round number 12 with everything on the line for both of these teams.
So again, I say the odds of a draw getting even more and more likely at this point. We're going to a top 4 defense. Na'Vi seems to like defending the top floor as they have yet to lose it. They only have tried 1 time. That tower defense, man oh man, it almost looked like Na'Vi was going to push it onto their match point right then and there. Now here's the real crying shame. This is a lot of points that Na'Vi now just cannot get. It's not possible for them to get 3 out of this situation, and they find themselves currently in 7th place, which is really, it's a bad spot. It's a really bad spot for Na'Vi to be in. So, Penta have maybe not won the day, as this could still be a draw, but they have certainly crushed, I think, the expectations from Na'Vi. They needed those points. They really did. It's the same kind of story we saw at the beginning of the day when G2 drew against Lestream. G2 needed those points. Lestream not so much. They were in started the day in 2nd, but G2 in 5th. They wanted to go to Milan. They really, really needed to win that match, and they got the draw. So it's not statistically over for G2 or anything, but it's going to be much, much more complicated moving forward. But on the other side here, Na'Vi, they want to avoid getting relegated, and now that they can't win this match, well, every match means more as you get closer to the end, so...
I mean, 1 point still does close that gap that Chaos has on them.
If they get it.
If they get it. Which is not by any means actually going to happen. I mean, Dorms is open up here. We only saw it once from Na'Vi, and they won it.
Yeah.
You have to imagine that that is probably going to continue. Maybe. Who knows? It's different tools that are being brought from Penta, though. Blast is on the Nomad roll, so an anti-flank. They know that Na'Vi likes to take gambles and take chances breaking windows and jumping out, especially with the match on the line. So what do? Well, you set up yourself in a position where, well, you got your air jabs there. All of them have now been placed by Blast, which means that you don't have any available for a post-plant. So they are more preoccupied on Penta's side of things with a possible push happening early rather than later. This means that there must be some confidence in the post plant, possibly just in direct coverage. And I mean, that makes a lot of sense on the site. Once you have control of dorms, it's very hard to get rid of it. And it's very hard for the opposing team, be it the attackers or the defenders, to be able to dislodge you.
KS is in a very difficult position here. Playing on the B bomb, he's doing his darndest to deny entry into the north windows. He's got Crying to support him, but he's so exposed. If at any point Penta figure out that he's there, potentially could eliminate him. He's got an ADS to support him and mute jammers, so while it is a difficult spot to work, he's doing his very best, and it's working out well enough to deny entry from Penta.
I don't know if they are aware of KS's position. Oh, beautiful shot. He'll cut Revan off the wire. His blast and the Nomad had found Crying, taking out the Jaeger. That's somebody who's going to be roaming and playing quite loose. So possible other confrontation down here is you've got Corey and Blast just a few yards apart, a few meters apart, and Lazo not too far off too. So this Nomad, who's wasting the time of two separate members of Na'Vi, is also buying a lot of time for his team to be able to execute. And they're going to need to, as enemy literally gets hit with the C4, but it explodes just behind him. There go your Candelas, and KS jumps out, but he gets down, finished off. It's a volley from both teams, but Na'Vi will hold on to the lead. Hungary's so low on HP, he gets cut down and blasted a 3v1. This draw is gonna happen. An anticlimactic ending, but overall, a pretty even one between these two teams. I know it doesn't mean much for Na'Vi in the standings, but a team finishing the first half in 7th against a team finishing the first half in 3rd, going same amount of time with one another. And the even distance between them, that's good. They go the full distance. Very similar to Mouse and Secret, 4th place team and an 8th place team.